You are the quiet force they can't shake. Your energy didn't vanish. It simply moved from the room into their bones. And now everything they do bends around that pull. Even when they act like they've moved on, they're stumbling over the traces you left because they never truly faced what happened between you. They chose avoidance over truth, and now that unspoken weight is blocking them. I'm hearing that this has pushed them to a breaking point. Tears, surrender, a slow, stunned kind of wake up where they finally see what they shut out. And here's the strange part. Even in the silence, something is shifting so fast that you might get a message in the oddest way, a sign, a dream, a sudden memory, like the dark is being lit from the inside. You lit a truth in them that won't stay buried, and now that truth is tugging at their life like gravity pulls at orbit. So sit with that pull, divine feminine. Something real was started here, and the next move won't be quiet. Hello, soul family. Welcome to Spiritual Manifestation. If this is your first time, welcome. If not, I'm glad to have you home. I just want to take a moment to say how grateful I am that you're here, because the energy that's already coming through feels powerful, and I can tell this message is meant for someone who truly needs it today. Before we dive in, a quick reminder. If you feel called to go deeper, the extended readings and extra guidance are always available on Patreon and through YouTube memberships. That's where we get into the longer, more personal layers of these messages, and it's a beautiful space to connect on a deeper level. And while you're here, don't forget to support the channel by liking this video, leaving a comment below, and sharing this reading with someone who may need to hear it. Your energy in this community makes such a difference, and I love reading your thoughts and reflections. Now let's go ahead and shuffle the deck together. Spirit, we ask you to guide us in this moment, to bring through the clearest and most aligned messages for those listening. As I set the energy for this reading, I can already feel the cards beginning to stir, and I know something important is ready to come through. The first card I pulled is the Nine of Swords for this message, so let's sit with that tender, heavy feeling for a moment. What I'm getting here is very real and very sharp. This person you touched has been quietly cracking open. It's not the kind of tear you see on the surface. It comes from somewhere deep, from the place where the heart keeps its hidden weather. They're on their knees with what they've carried, and the sound of that breaking is raw and true. You brought something into their life that they can't forget, even now. In meditation, I kept hearing that voice, a man's voice that finally let itself cry, and the thing he said over and over was, "She's really gone." That simple sentence landed like a stone. It's the kind of line that stops the story in its tracks and forces the rest of the story to catch up. For him, the guessing is over, and the weight of what he didn't do is all that remains. There's also this pressure I keep sensing, like a pot left on the stove, slowly boiling over. He's had to tell the same tale again and again, and every time he repeats it, the shame presses harder. People around him are not just listening, they're reacting. Some are holding him to account, some are quietly taking your side, and that mix of eyes and answers is what finally pushed him down. It's painful because he's not used to being seen like this. Maybe he's the type who kept a straight face and guarded his heart. And now all of that careful armor is cracking. And divine feminine, I want you to know this isn't your fault to carry. You didn't mean to make someone fall apart, and you certainly didn't sign up to hold their confusion. But the truth is, your energy did change the course of their life. And because they didn't face it when it first happened, it's hitting them now with more force. They're sobbing over the part of them that couldn't meet the moment, the part that chose fear or silence instead of looking at what was real between you. This energy is intense, so please take care of yourself while you listen. If you're feeling shaky as you hear this, step away, breathe, and come back when you feel steady. For those who can sit with it, know this. There's a kind of clearing underway. His breaking open can bring truth to light, and truth makes choices possible, even if those choices take time. Expect that some of what comes next might feel messy. That's okay. Healing often looks like confusion before it looks like clarity. There's one more thing I want you to hear very clearly. What he's doing now is his work, not yours. You can be tender and you can hold compassion, but you don't have to step back into the old pattern to soothe his guilt or fix his story. Let him sit in his feelings and learn from them. That's the only way he'll actually grow. If he reaches out, meet him from a place of calm and clarity, not from fear or need. Your boundaries are the kindest thing you can offer both of you right now, because they teach him how real change looks. Also, watch for small signs that feel like proof, but aren't an invitation to re-enter the same loop. A text at 2 a.m., a sudden memory shared by someone else, a dream that wakes you. These can all be part of the clearing, but they're not promises. Ask yourself, does this move me toward peace, or does it pull me into old chaos? If it pulls, protect yourself. If it nudges you gently toward truth, you can respond from your higher self. You get to set the pace. You get to choose whether you walk through a door or keep it closed. Lastly, hold space for grief and for quiet hope at the same time. It's okay to feel sad about what was, and also to be quietly excited about who you are becoming. Do small, steady things that anchor you. A walk, a page of journaling, a song that makes you breathe. Let your friends witness you, or write a note to the part of you that's healing. Over time, those small acts collect into a new life that no one can take away from you. Finally, be open to unexpected ways this shows up. It might be a quiet message, a dream, or something small that lands in your day that feels like proof that his heart is moving. That shift won't be neat. It will be sudden in places and slow in others. But the core is simple. Something inside him is waking, and it's because of what you once shared. Hold your ground, protect your peace, and remember you are not responsible for fixing what he must face for himself. Divine Feminine, the next card I pulled is the moon for this message, so let's lean into that quiet, shadowy feeling for a minute. What I'm seeing is this. Your energy is haunting them. Not in a spooky way, but in the slow, aching way where someone keeps replaying a picture in their head and it won't stop. They are mourning you even though you are alive, which sounds wild, but that's exactly what's happening. They grieve the loss of what you were together, the safe place you made, the small things only you two knew. That sorrow sits under their everyday life like fog, and it colors the choices they make without them even knowing. Here's the hard part. Because you set the tone for them, they now compare everyone to you. Every new face, every new voice, Every attempt at moving on gets measured against what you gave them. They have put you on a pedestal in their mind, not because you ask them to, but because that's how they learn to feel loved. That makes it almost impossible for them to move forward in love. Even if they are in a new connection, they keep glancing back in the dark, wondering why nothing feels the same. It's like you are the standard they can't reach, and that keeps tripping them up. You might not see any of this, and that's okay. They may be hiding it well. Outwardly, they can act like everything is fine. Their life might look tidy and put together. But underneath the mask, their heart is cluttered with the memory of you. They feel stuck between wanting safety and wanting the wild, honest thing you showed them. That tug can make them act strange, make them freeze at moments when a real choice needs to be made, or make them pull away when vulnerability shows up. There's also this strange thing happening with their energy. It's almost like you live in their shadow world. They go through their day, talk to people, maybe even laugh. But when the quiet comes, so do you. You're the thought that slips in when the phone is down, when the lights are off, when no one else is around. That's why it feels haunting, because your presence isn't gone. It's moved from the physical into the unseen, and they don't know how to stop feeling you there. And Spirit is showing me something powerful. Being their phantom ex doesn't mean you're just a memory. It means you became their mirror. They keep bumping into the truth that no matter how much they try to replace or distract, their soul already knows what it wants. That's why the comparisons never end. They keep looking for you in other faces, other voices, other arms. But it doesn't work because what you gave them wasn't surface, it was soul. And you can't replace soul deep with surface love. This is why you may still feel their pull sometimes. Maybe you wake up with a heavy dream. Maybe you suddenly think of them when you weren't trying to. Maybe you even feel their emotions like they're yours. That's not your imagination. It's the tie between you vibrating with the weight of what's unspoken. But remember, divine feminine, just because their energy reaches for you doesn't mean you have to reach back. You are allowed to stand firm, to breathe into your own light, and to let them wrestle with their shadows until they're ready to face them. So what does that mean for you? First, it means your power is real. You mattered more than you might have known. Second, it means their struggle is about them, not you. You didn't break them. You simply opened a door they weren't ready to walk through. Keep your boundaries steady and your heart soft. If they reach out from that place of truth, that's one thing. But watch for messages that only stir the old wound without offering real change. Protect your peace, divine feminine, and know that being their phantom ex does not take away from your worth or from the life you are building now. Moving forward, I just pulled the Page of Cups, and that fits this whole message like a glove. Soft, shy, and full of things waiting to be said. What I'm seeing is simple. You've been getting unsent messages. Not always words on a screen, but energy that lands on your skin at night, pulls at your dreams, or pops into your head when you least expect it. Your person's higher self is trying to speak to you from a place you don't always notice in the day, a quieter, deeper place, and those little nudges are real. Don't shrug them off as random thoughts. They are attempts at a gentle bridge from their hidden heart to your awake world. This energy shows up most strongly at night because that's when the mind rests and the soul can whisper. So if you've been waking with a memory you can't explain, or if a dream keeps replaying, that's likely where a message is arriving. It could also come as a sudden tune, a line of words, or a tiny image. Things that feel small but carry a whole feeling inside. For some of you, the person actually writes words and never hits send. For others, it's pure telepathy, the feeling of them typing a message that never leaves their drafts. Either way, your inner world is loud right now because something needs to be heard. Here's the tender truth. This isn't a trick of your mind. Your intuition is trying to keep you safe by showing you what's real beneath the surface. You might be tempted to busy yourself so those messages quiet down, but pay attention when the night pulls at you. Write the dreams down, record the songs that pop in, and notice the moods that arrive without a cause. Those little notes are clues. They tell you whether this person's heart is moving or whether it's mostly their imagination trying to soothe itself. And one more thing. Those unsent messages are also a kind of slow mirror. They show you what's alive on their side, yes, but they also reveal what's still raw inside you. When a feeling arrives at night and won't leave, pause and ask, what is this trying to teach me? Sometimes it's grief that needs naming. Sometimes it's a memory that wants tender tending. And sometimes it's a lesson about the kind of love you no longer settle for. Don't rush to fix or explain it away. Sit with it like you would sit with a small child who needs to be heard. Let the feeling move through you without making it your job to carry the whole story for someone else. Practical things help. Keep a tiny dream journal by your bed and write one line the moment you wake. Even a single word helps the pattern become clear. Give yourself a 5-minute signal check each evening. Breathe, feel your heart. Name one thing you noticed that day that felt true. If a message shows up as a song or an image, save it in a note and look back after 3 days. Does it point to a pattern or was it a one-off? When any real person reaches out, wait until your body feels calm before answering. Your body will tell you if what's offered moves you toward peace or pulls you back into old knots. Also, hold compassion for both of you and keep your line clear. You can be kind without reopening an old loop. You can acknowledge their wake-up without making their growth your responsibility. If they come with tears and truth, meet that from a place of calm, not from need. If they come with confusion and old stories, protect your heart and watch for steady change before you step forward. Trust the small signs, divine feminine. They will tell you when a real door is opening, and in the meantime, keep tending the life only you can build. Finally, move with care. Receiving these unsent messages doesn't mean you must act on every feeling. Let them inform you, not rule you. When you get a nudge, test it gently. Write it in your journal, sleep on it, or put a soft boundary around how much you let those signals steer your day. The Page of Cups invites curiosity and tenderness. Listen like you would to a child with a true thing to say, but keep your center. Your inner wisdom will tell you which tiny message is real and which is just noise. Before we pull the next card, I just want to pause for a moment and check in with you. How has this been resonating with you so far? If something in these first 3 cards has already spoken to your heart, Let me know in the comments. I love reading how these messages meet you right where you are. All right, let's go ahead and see what Spirit has for us as we pull the next card. Divine Feminine, I pulled the Seven of Swords for this next part, and it speaks so clearly to what's happening here. Feelings hidden, truths stuffed down, and emotions carried in silence. This card is showing both sides of the story. Yes, your masculine has been hiding what they feel, but Spirit is also saying that you've tucked away pieces of your own truth too. You've kept parts of this connection inside, almost like secrets you've never spoken out loud, because they live so deep in your heart that they're hard to put into words. What makes this connection so unique is that even when you're apart, your inner worlds are still tied together. On the surface, you may look very different, live very different lives, but underneath, it's almost like your souls are running in sync. That's why no matter how far you try to pull back, the energy always finds its way to you. One moment you're focused on your own growth, your work, your journey, and the next, you can feel that tug, that sudden pull in your heart space that tells you he's thinking about you, even if he says nothing. And here's the tension. You're tired of being in the dark. You don't want to keep guessing anymore. You've been asking Spirit, is what I'm feeling real? Or is this just me holding on to something I need to let go of? That's such a human, honest question, and Spirit is saying your intuition has been right all along. The emotions you feel, the sudden heaviness, the nights where your dreams feel too vivid, those are signals that he's still sending energy your way. The bond hasn't dissolved, and that's why the silence feels so confusing. At the same time, Spirit is highlighting how much you've grown. Look at yourself. While this masculine has been circling in avoidance, you've been elevating. Spiritually, emotionally, even in abundance, you're shifting into higher levels of your own life. That's why you've been wondering if this growth is something you're meant to share with him, or if it's a sign that your path is moving on to something new. The Seven of Swords says the truth that's been hidden will come forward. The question is whether it will free you into closure or reroute the two of you back together for another chapter. Divine Feminine, the Seven of Swords, is also pointing to the ways you've learned to protect your own heart. You've been careful about who you let in, maybe even quiet about how deeply this connection still lingers within you. That's not because you're afraid of love, it's because you've grown wise. You've learned that not everyone deserves access to the most sacred parts of you, and so you've been holding your truth close, waiting for the moment when it will feel safe enough to be seen. Spirit is saying that's strength, not secrecy. You're honoring your own heart in the process. And here's something else I feel very strongly. This silence has shaped you just as much as the connection itself. It's made you dig deeper into your own intuition, your own clarity. It's taught you how to sit with questions instead of rushing to answers. And as hard as that's been, it's also building a kind of resilience inside you that will carry into every part of your life. Sometimes Spirit allows the hidden to remain hidden for a season, because in that space of uncertainty, you uncover your own voice more clearly than ever. Lastly, Spirit wants you to know that this story isn't just about waiting for them to uncover their truth. It's also about you realizing that your truth deserves to be lived, whether or not they ever step forward. You don't need someone else's confession to confirm what your soul already knows. The bond is real, the lessons are real, and the love you've given is real. And no matter which way this unfolds, your light continues forward. The Seven of Swords reminds us that hidden things come to light, but it also whispers that what's been hidden inside of you is just as ready to be revealed. And this is where your choice comes in. You may not say it out loud, but part of you is quietly waiting to see if this is the repeat of a cycle or the start of something healed and real. Spirit is asking you not to judge yourself for those feelings. You're not weak for wondering, and you're not wrong for holding hope. You're simply human and deeply connected. What matters most now is trusting your inner compass. When the truth surfaces, and it will, you'll know whether it's a lesson completed or a love being rewritten. Wow. Now I pulled the King of Cups for this moment. Calm water, big heart, and someone who's finally learning how to feel without being swept away. What I'm seeing is exactly what you said. He's on his knees, and in that breaking, he's starting to find his feelings. The King of Cups energy is not about loud drama or grand speeches. It's about quiet owning of what's inside. He's ready to talk because the storm inside him has pushed him toward honesty, not because he's mastered it yet. That means his words will come softer, often messy, but they will come from a place that wants to heal instead of hide. This card also tells me something gentle but firm. When he speaks, he will test the water first. He won't barge straight into full confession. He'll feel the room, he'll measure your tone. He'll try to see if he can be safe with you again. That's part of why you feel his energy as mostly mental. He's rehearsing inside his head before he shows it in the world. Your silence has taught him to stop taking your presence for granted, and that lesson has pushed him toward a new kind of humility. Still, humility without steady action can be a kind of talk. What we want to watch for is calm words followed by calm choices. So what should you do if he reaches out? The King of Cups is asking you to meet him with clear calm. That doesn't mean you drop your guards or pretend the past didn't leave marks. It means you listen with a steady heart and you watch how his words land in his life. Does he make small changes that line up with what he says? Does he show up when it matters, even in quiet ways? If the answer is yes, you can let the conversation unfold. If the answer is no, you honor the growing parts of you that won't accept crumbs any longer. What I'm also seeing here is that your silence has been louder than anything you could have said. Divine Feminine, by stepping back, by no longer explaining, defending, or chasing, you shifted the entire dynamic. This masculine has always relied on your reaction to guide him, whether it was an outburst, a truth you spoke, or even your forgiveness. Now that you've withdrawn that energy, he's forced to sit with his own. And that's where the King of Cups is really testing him. Will he rise to the moment with maturity, or will he retreat back into the patterns that kept him from you in the first place? There's also a deeper layer here. He's realizing that you're not the same person he left behind. You've grown. You've tapped into your strength, your intuition, and your power in ways he didn't expect. So when he does approach, it won't just be about what he wants to say. It'll also be about how he handles the new you, the version of you that doesn't bend to old cycles, the version that knows her worth. That's why Spirit is reminding you to stand steady in your truth, because this moment is as much about your growth as it is about his awakening. And here's the beautiful part. You don't need to fear this conversation. Whether it comes in words, a message, or even through a small gesture, you are ready to meet it from a place of balance. You don't have to prove yourself, you don't have to over-explain, and you don't have to carry what isn't yours. Let him bring what he has to say, but remember, you hold the power of choice. You get to decide what enters your space and what does not. The King of Cups brings emotional honesty, yes, but it's your discernment that decides whether that honesty is enough to build a bridge forward. Finally, be kind to yourself through this. His readiness to talk doesn't erase what you felt or what you lost, and it doesn't obligate you to reopen a door that will dim your light. Use this moment as a mirror. Let his words help you see what you want next, but don't let them pull you off your path. Keep your boundaries gentle but firm, and remember that true repair shows as steady care over time, not a single speech. The King of Cups brings the possibility of real heart work, but only if both of you are willing to do it day after day. Divine Feminine, for the final card, I pulled the Two of Cups, and Spirit couldn't have chosen a clearer way to close this message. Underneath all of the noise, all of the silence, all of the distance, this person is still devoted to you. They may have walked away, they may have hidden behind excuses, they may have let fear or pride take the lead, but the bond they feel with you didn't dissolve. The Two of Cups shows me that their soul still reaches for yours. They still care what you think. They still replay the way you made them feel valued, and they still see you as the one who touched them in ways no one else could. Here's the raw truth. They tried to move forward without ever facing what this connection really meant, and that's why they're blocked now. They wanted to control the story, to keep you in the dark, to act like you weren't the one holding so much of their heart. But energy doesn't lie. Your presence lingers in everything they do. They may be living their life, showing a mask to the world, but when they're alone, it's you they feel. And that devotion they tried to hide has become impossible to outrun. Spirit is also showing me that your intuition has been right the whole time. You've felt the pull, the haunting, the unsent words, the heavy dreams. You've felt their tears even when they didn't cry in front of you. That's not your imagination. That's the invisible bond you share. And even though you don't want to hold them back or block their progress, their unprocessed feelings for you are the very thing keeping them from moving freely in life. Until they face it, they'll keep circling back to this truth. They are still devoted. This may surprise you, especially if they've acted cold or stoic. But devotion doesn't always look like grand gestures. Sometimes it looks like the way they measure every new person against you, the way they carry your opinion in their pocket, like it still defines their worth, the way their soul won't let your memory fade no matter how much time passes. That is why Spirit says you are irreplaceable. No matter how much they tried to bury it, you made them feel alive, important, loved. And that imprint doesn't wash away. The Two of Cups is also here to remind you that devotion alone isn't enough. What matters is whether it shows up in action, in honesty, in the kind of steady love that doesn't hide behind masks. Spirit is saying the energy between you is still alive, but your role is not to wait. It's to keep standing in your worth. Let their devotion reveal itself if and when it chooses to, but never shrink your own light to meet what someone else hides. And here's the thing, devotion can live in silence, but silence is not the same as showing up. Spirit is saying this person has been holding you in their heart, even when they couldn't hold you in the physical, and that's why you still feel them so strongly. But devotion has to be lived, not just felt. If they want to meet you where you are now, it's going to take more than memories and more than longing. It's going to take a choice to be honest, to be consistent, and to honor the love they've carried instead of running from it. At the same time, Spirit is highlighting your own power here, because even though they're devoted to you, the question that matters most is, are you devoted to yourself first? The Two of Cups isn't only about their love for you, it's about balance, a mirror. It reflects how the love you give yourself sets the standard for what you allow others to give you. And you've grown so much, Divine Feminine. You're not in the same place you were when they left. And that means if this love is meant to return, it has to rise to meet the new version of you. So take this as confirmation, not as pressure. Their devotion is real. Their feelings are alive. But Spirit is saying the next chapter isn't about waiting to see what they'll do. It's about holding your own cup steady, filling it with the life you're creating, and letting love meet you where you stand. Whether that love comes back through them or through someone new, the devotion that truly matters will not be hidden. It will be lived out loud. The bond is real, the devotion is present, and the truth is unfolding even in silence. But the power is yours. You decide how this story continues, and Spirit is asking you to choose yourself first. Whether this connection reopens or fades into closure, the love you carry forward is already shaping a brighter, truer path for your life. Okay, this feels like a beautiful place to close the reading. What we've seen here is a reminder that your energy is powerful, your journey is guided, and Spirit is always working in ways you may not fully see yet. Trust that what is meant for you will always find its way, and you don't need to chase. Just allow yourself to stay aligned and open. If you feel called to dive deeper, the exclusive and extended version of our readings are available right now on Patreon and through YouTube memberships. That's where we really expand on these messages and explore the layers that Spirit couldn't fit into this space. Also, don't forget to check out the community posts and today's energy reading updates. I love connecting with you there and hearing how these messages meet you in your own journey. Drop your comments below, share your personal requests, and let me know how this reading spoke to you. And if you'd like to keep the energy flowing, I've linked some other videos here that I know will guide and encourage you. I'll see you in the next reading. Bye for now.